Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Millennial Project. Today I want to dive into our next Hollywood sign interview, and this interview will be with Dan Koeppel. Dan is a pedestrian advocate. He was at Alyssa Walker's D-Lab event about the Hollywood sign, and he has a lot of really compelling and interesting ideas about how pedestrians can actually increase the quality of life and the cachet of a neighborhood, can help preserve a neighborhood rather than destroying a neighborhood. So I think this is really important as we talk about the ongoing sign issue, because a lot of the residents in Beachwood Canyon claim that pedestrians are making their quality of life worse, that people are peeing on their lawns, they're leaving trash all over the place, that they are being loud, they're walking in the middle of the street, being disrespectful, stuff like that. So I think this will be an interesting interview. I think it will bring up some good points about pedestrians and kind of this ongoing sign issue, and I want to get right into it. But before we do that, I do just want to say that if you like what you see today, you can stay up to date with the Millennial Project's latest videos by subscribing to the show on YouTube or liking the page on Facebook. Also, feel free to share what we're doing with your friends, family, city council members, fellow activists, journalists, anybody you can think of. The extra views always really help. And then on top of that, I think with these more pro-access related interviews, I think it's really important to get the word out there that there are people in Los Angeles who want to preserve access to the hiking trails that lead to the Hollywood sign and to the Hollywood sign itself. I think more often than not, a lot of city officials and journalists hear from residents in Beachwood Canyon who want to deal with the various public safety and quality of life issues by simply shutting down access to the sign, at least via Beachwood Canyon, and then moving that access to another part of the park, which might be a lot farther away from the Hollywood sign, etc. So with all that in mind, I think it's just really helpful to, again, get these wider perspectives out there, these perspectives that offer different solutions to the ongoing Hollywood sign issue. All right, with all that out of the way, let's dive right into our next interview with Dan Koeppel.
My name is Dan Koeppel. I'm a pedestrian advocate, I suppose, a walker. I organize an event every year called the Big Parade. We walk all over LA for free. We're a total free organization, and we attract thousands of people. And I'm here to tell people that you should walk anywhere you want in LA.
So do you see yourself as kind of a walkable or livable cities advocate?
I guess I just like to walk. I don't buy into the idea that LA is not walkable and not livable. I've always thought LA was walkable and livable from the day I got here, and I just want to show that to other people.
So how does this kind of factor into the Hollywood sign issue?
Well, the Hollywood sign, from a walking perspective, it's an amazing place to walk. You've got hiking trails. It's pretty much in a park. You've got this great neighborhood underneath with wonderful public stairways, beautiful architecture. And it just dismays me totally that somehow pedestrians are being vilified and made to look like we're harming something. We're here for Los Angeles, to love Los Angeles and to share it. And what is more shareable on foot than the Hollywood sign?
So how does it work to get up to the Hollywood sign on foot? What's the hike like?
I really should post exact directions so thousands and thousands of people can stream up there. Nobody should go up to the Hollywood sign in a car or in a bus, okay? No tour buses, no cars, not even the locals. They should have to walk from down there too. There's 6 stairways or 5, depending on how you count stairways. And you can do a little zigzag route up there, these beautiful stairs, and then you get to the trailhead by Sunset Ranch and then walk up the road to the Hollywood sign. That's one way to do it. You can come via Griffith Park, you can come from the backside, but I like coming through the neighborhood, and apparently some people in the neighborhood don't like the idea of peaceful, well-meaning pedestrians, mingling with them.
Do you see this as tying into larger issues of public space and things like that?
I do. I think in Los Angeles, we have sort of very much privatized public space, both actually and mentally. I mean, the freeways, for example, are public, yet everyone's inside their car. They see the freeway as theirs. The idea that you would, even on a street like Figueroa right down here, that you would build a bike lane, a lot of car drivers have opposed that, and we've not been able to do it because, oh no, the streets are for cars. Actually, public space is for the public. I'm not advocating that people ride bikes on freeways. I'm advocating that we rethink how we isolate ourselves, and that we have to remember that the definition of public is truly public. Once you start narrowing that, you make it car drivers on the freeway or on a street, or people who own homes in a certain neighborhood, if they are the public and the rest of us are an other public, then we have totally destroyed what makes us a city.
So if you were going to describe the larger Hollywood sign issue kind of from start to finish, how would you do that? Because a lot of people kind of see it differently, and I'm really curious what your perspective is as kind of this pedestrian access person, if that makes any sense.
Well, I see it as people gone totally mad, actually. Look, there is no question that there's too much traffic in that neighborhood. There are too many tour buses in Hollywood. We should have ways of regulating those. Those buses are not meant to be on regular streets, and the people there have every right to want to restrict commercial traffic on residential streets. That somehow this has been lumped into restricting all access, that they somehow see pedestrians, they make up stories about pedestrians peeing on the stairs. Come on, I mean, these are ordinary people, and this idea that somehow this neighborhood is meant to be private is just crazy. And I think people have gotten a little nuts. They've decided it's all or nothing, and we're really being divided. I mean, what we need to do in all of Los Angeles, not just in Beachwood Canyon, is reduce the amount of traffic, reduce the amount of cars, improve the quality of life, get people to go everywhere on foot, on bikes, in shuttle buses. Some idea somehow that you preserve your quality of life by building a force field around your community, around your neighborhood. Well, let's just build them around our own houses and our own selves, and let's separate ourselves from our friends and neighbors and children and pets instead. You know, like, it's just crazy. We need to band together against what's really destroying quality of life in Los Angeles, which is overcrowding and too many cars.
And is it fair to say that another thing kind of destroying quality of life in Los Angeles is precisely this dividing of the city rather than kind of a coming together of the city? Right,
and the city has always been divided. I mean, the thing I love about LA is the thing that divides LA. It's a huge, sprawling, massive, confusing mess. I grew up in New York City, compact, on a grid, easy to navigate, but I love LA more. I'm like a New Yorker who says, forget about New York, I'm never going back. I love the size and sprawl. I love that each neighborhood is distinct. I love that we can connect these neighborhoods. I love that the LA gives us over the county, over size the space of Connecticut, 20,000 miles of roads to explore. And yet at the same time, we exclude each other. I mean, we exclude each other by building freeways that literally tear neighborhoods apart and keep, it's like living on two banks of a river with no bridge. We exclude each other economically. We exclude each other socially. And I think we've forgotten that the way to be a true city is to include, not to exclude.
Well, and I think that makes a lot of sense. You know, I know you had talked briefly about your experience going into the neighborhood years ago and it being different than today. Do you mind elaborating on that a little bit?
Well, yeah. On my walk, the big parade, the first 2 years, we actually were welcomed by the neighborhood. In fact, one of the people who opposes pedestrians now, who has been, very, very angry about it, used to welcome us. She met us, she gave us water, she told us about the neighborhood, and she said, go walk to the Hollywood sign. I don't really understand what's happened, but I could tell you, the first year I did my walk, we ended at the Hollywood sign, and I thought we would be there by about 6 o'clock. Well, I miscalculated. We didn't get down to Beachwood Canyon until 8 o'clock, and we told people if they wanted to join us for the walk to meet us at the Beachwood Market at 5. So we were 3 hours late, and there were 40 people waiting for us. We walked, about 80 of us, up to that sign. We didn't get back down until midnight, and there were people who had never walked in LA. Literally, people were in tears at how beautiful this togetherness was. And how can you deny that to people?
Do you think that there's any validity to these assertions that people are coming in and peeing on lawns? You know what I mean? I mean, there's certain residents in the neighborhood claim that the hikers, not just the people in cars, but the hikers are destroying the environment and the area and the ethos of the neighborhood. Do you buy that argument?
I want to say that that's total crap. I mean, if there are bad apples, right? And I'm not going to say that there are people who don't do that. We live in Los Angeles. Has there ever been anybody who had to pee on a walk in Los Angeles and decided to be a dick about it and pee on the lawn? I'm sure the answer is yes. Is that the same as overcrowding a neighborhood? No. Why not have facilities? If you're worried about people peeing, take a picture of them. Call the police. It's against the law already. The idea that you would exclude hundreds of law-abiding people because somebody has done something that offends you is completely crazy. It's not American. It's contrary to everything that we know about liberty and public rights. It's just, you know, a bunch of crap. And you know, if these guys want to keep their neighborhood to themselves, then they should just stay in their neighborhood, stay out of the other parks, stay off the streets. Don't you come for a walk in my neighborhood either. And what kind of LA do we have then? We have an LA that's just, you know, yeah, we all get to pee in our own toilets and nobody pees anywhere else if that ever happens, but in the end, we don't get to know anything.
Do you think that this issue represents some of the stresses and the strains that are on the larger American political system right now?
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, you know, I mean, people, yeah, we certainly see in our current political system people behaving badly and selfishly, but I think it's more reflects the fact that we are reaching a sort of critical mass in the city of Los Angeles in terms of the stresses we feel here. I mean, again, the number of cars is increasing, the number of tourists is increasing. So I mean, I feel like the lack of courtesy in the discourse is something that's common in the United States, but I want to keep it to Los Angeles and just say the lack of courtesy is just something that we tend to adopt when we stop realizing that we're all in it together, you know?
So for you, what is a solution that kind of corresponds to your priorities of public access and being able to walk?
No matter how much you as a resident of Beachwood Canyon hate the idea of people walking, remember that we are your allies. I mean, we are not there destroying your neighborhood. No matter what you think, imagine, say, have seen, have heard, we are not destroying your neighborhood. We are preserving your neighborhood. People on foot are a benefit. You don't believe me? Go to Rome, go to Paris, go to New York. People on foot get to know you, know where you are, and that will preserve your neighborhood. Get us on your side. We will come out against those tour buses. We will help you stop them. We don't want to be lumped in with them. It's not fair. And you need allies. You're not going to win this by saying our neighborhood is a fishbowl and only fish are allowed inside of it. It doesn't work that way. So really, like, get off your high horse, accept that some people that you don't want to see on a Saturday morning are going to be there, but we are the alternative to the tour buses. I make an offer right now. If you join the Pedestrians, I will lead a walk every single day for a year, from the corner of Hollywood and Vine up to the Hollywood sign with people, and there won't be a single person littering or peeing, no matter how many people we get. I guarantee it.
I like it. Well, I appreciate it. Do you have anything else that you think is important to this kind of larger discussion that you'd like to add?
No, I just want to say again to the people who live up in Beachwood, when you hate on people who are coming up on foot, you are just making a big mistake, a huge mistake. Don't do it. We're your friends.
I love it. Thank you.
Yep.
I appreciate it.